Welcome back to the Comic Cave, everyone. I thought a change of scenery might be nice. I really wanted to say we have a short show for you today, just a few stories, but it's another crazy week filled with the most insane news and rumors. This hype beast just never stops. But is it just that, all hype? We're seeing the latest critic and audience scores for the upcoming Marvel and DC projects, and they're not looking great. Are the studios hyping up these projects to unrealistic goals, and then the audience all the audiences are upset when they don't meet their expectations? Or is it the fans that have just come to demand too much and want more of those same highs that they felt in movies like Avengers Endgame? Has that bar now been set? This week, I'll be looking into this and what's next for Marvel and DC, while seeing what's going on in the comic market and possibly which issues to keep an eye out for. So yeah, you're in the right place for all the latest comic spec, rumors, and latest news. But first, can I please ask you to like, subscribe, and tell your friends about this channel so we can keep it growing. Stick around and we'll be right back after the intro. Hey everyone, we have loads of stories to get through this week. So I might have to do a rapid fire Marvel news segment because there are just so many different projects that got updates. So as you all know, comics are my first passion and I take my collecting pretty seriously. So it's time to talk about what happened this week in the comic market, and it caused quite a few ripples. You might have seen these pictures doing the rounds because there was an attempted fraudulent consignment that came into mycomicshop.com. This was apparently from one of their big customers that's been doing consignments with them for many years, and obviously no rookie. The books in question were a Hulk 1, 6.5 grade, and that's worth around $45,000, and a coverless Captain America 1, and that's still about 30 grand. So not play money. This person knew what they were doing, going for low to mid-grade books so as not to raise too much suspicion. But the cases were slightly opened, so they investigated, and it looks like they were pried open very carefully and high-grade photocopies replaced inside. They could tell the age of the paper and that it was just made to look older, but at closer inspection, you could also see the edges were slightly stretched, but still a high-grade forgery. I mean, enough to pass the normal eye. A similar situation happened with CBCS and their old cases back in 2016. So they've since changed them to make them more tamper-proof. But this still raises a few questions. Will this affect the market's perception of CGC, since really they're the market leaders in the slabbing game? Don't get me wrong, I am an ardent CGC supporter. I have over 100 Yellow Label Signature Series Stan Lee signed slabs, because they're the only ones I trust when it comes to witness signatures and essentially something that's going to hold the value. And that's due to their reputation. Quite a few people have been complaining about the grading companies and all the scandals that continually seem to happen. And I've also heard a growing number of people wanting to rather keep their books raw now because of these additional expenses of just slabbing, and it doesn't seem to make sense anymore. That being said, if they are Golden Age DC keys, or let's say an Amazing Fantasy 15, I would want it graded. I mean, what are your thoughts? Drop a comment below, let me know. Now, onto the news, and as I said, we've got a jam-packed show for you today. Let's start with DC and we can move on to Marvel and the indies a little later. So, As I spoke about earlier, the hype train is doing nothing for DC. It's possibly because James Gunn and Peter Safran are focusing on setting up their universe, but the movies that are set to come out this year look to be in serious trouble. So Shazam 2 has very poor predictions for its opening weekend. And sadly, it doesn't look like Aquaman 2 would do much better because it's been called the worst DCU or DCEU movie ever after the initial test screenings. James Gunn has almost finished his script for Superman Legacy, and we think this will have elements from the All-Star Superman run. I mean, he did confirm Batman and Superman, their ages in the DCU, saying that Superman would be less than 40 and Batman could be slightly older. So while that might rule out a traditional Super Sons team-up in the current DC comics, we now see Green Arrow's son and Damian Wayne as a new iconic duo. I mean, who knows, maybe we could see them in the DCU. We did hear that in Brave and the Bold, the Batman story, it'll feature the full Bat family. Now, we don't know to what extent, but if I'm going to spec, then I'm placing my bets on the Fox family to make an appearance. And that's my big spec tip. I was excited to hear that there's going to be a big DC actor reveal in 6 months. Maybe we get to see who the actors are that make up the Justice League. And it was funny that Joss Whedon actually originally offered the role of Wonder Woman to Evangeline Lilly. You can see her at the moment playing Wasp in Quantumania. What's even funnier is that Hugh Jackman tried to convince her to join the cast of X-Men, and she turned him down too. Kind of glad she didn't accept those roles. I mean, we wouldn't have seen or have our Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman. The new HBO Max Penguin series will feature Robert Pattinson as Batman, so at least he's going to have his continuity there. And unfortunately, the Justice League Dark animated series from J.J. Abrams has been cancelled. I was really looking forward to this one, but I do think it's going to clash with Chapter 1 of Gunn and Safran's vision, because I can see them slowly bringing in characters like Zatanna, Constantine, Etrigan the Demon, and even Detective Chimp, and introducing them to their own way to build up a team formation that would kind of rival the Legion of Monsters or Marvel Zombies and the horror angle that Marvel are playing on. Before we close up on DC, here are a few images of Lady Gaga dressed up as Harley for Joker 2 with Joaquin Phoenix. What do you think? Are you interested in watching a superhero musical adaptation? I love the first movie, so I'll have to give this a go. Oh yeah, if you guys like my shirt, I got it from this awesome company called Saints and Sinners. I mean, you can check out their website, but they've got loads of insane designs. I mean, I think it's made for geeks by geeks, and it's made to fit your body really well. So it's like solid quality, but it also, the cut is nice. It just shows off, arms and chest while hiding that bit of stomach. So I like that extra effort they went to make when they made it extra long. And they've got women's and kids ranges. But okay, on to Marvel DC news. So Kevin Feige has big aspirations. He one day wants to become the head of Disney's TV and production arm. I mean, that would give him oversight over all the animations, that's Pixar, Lucasfilm, meaning Star Wars, and even more. I mean, speaking of Star Wars, The Mandalorian Season 4 has already been written. I mean, we know Ahsoka Season 2 is already in the works, and the latest rumor I heard said that we won't see Boba Fett in The Mandalorian Season 3. We might see him in Season 4, or Boba Fett, obviously, Season 2, but this hasn't been confirmed by any other sources, making this one slightly dubious. In Quantumania, I mean, that's currently on cinema. Reviews haven't been great, and a lot of criticisms from friends of mine that have watched it pointed to the CGI and visual effects. I mean, they just said they just weren't up to scratch, especially when it came to characters like MODOK. Well, that could possibly have been because critical resources for the VFX were apparently diverted from Quantumania towards Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, and that was last year. I don't know whether this is just another lame excuse to try and cover up for bad production work. I mean, do you know in the movie Evangeline Lilly was supposed to be a mom? However, the scenes were edited out in the final cut. The director of Quantumania, Peyton Reed, said that he wouldn't want to do an X-Men reboot, but he is very interested in making a Nova movie. I mean, I think he might be a Richard Rider fan. I think just because there are too many Marvel projects that have gotten updates this week, I'm going to have to do these next stories as a rapid fire segment. Okay, so this week we heard that Tom Holland will lead the Avengers in Kang Dynasty. But I think it's a bit of a misdirection because it'll probably be the Falcon, Sam Wilson. What it could mean is that Tom Holland will get the most screen time in terms of minutes and possibly earn the highest amount compared to the other cast members. I heard Anthony Mackie in an interview with Jimmy Kimmel said that Steve Rogers isn't dead in the MCU after the Infinity Saga. I mean, we didn't see him die. Maybe we see Chris Evans back again as Captain America. The Ironheart and Echo series have been pushed back to 2024. They were originally set to be released this year. Agatha Harkness, so that's the Coven of Chaos series, it was the WandaVision spin-off. Well, it's now been delayed. We know it will have Wanda in it though. Vision Quest is set to start filming next year, and it'll apparently include characters that comic book fans associate with Vision in the comics. Tom Hardy confirmed that Venom 3 is in pre-production, and we got a tease that Power Man, Luke Cage, and we'll be back with Jessica Jones joining the MCU. If you know the bromance and constant chirps between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, I mean, Deadpool 3, which I think is going to be the best R-rated MCU movie ever made. Well, it got an update, with both of them saying how excited they are to give each other grief on the big screen. Now, two properties are being pushed forward and are going to form bigger parts of the MCU. And those are, well, Shang-Chi, because he's going to be an integral part of the multiverse, and Eternals 2. We know in Thunderbolts, they'll possibly mine adamantium off Tiamat Island. So all these things build up to larger plots of introducing the X-Men or Secret Wars. I heard that Scarlett Johansson is looking to return in 3 more Marvel movies, and while Elizabeth Olsen, Wanda Maximoff, will appear in Coven of Chaos, Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, she won't get another solo project till possibly after all of those. A strange rumor that came out this week will be that we get Ben Affleck's Daredevil in Secret Wars, although I'm not putting a lot of faith behind that one. In a Secret Invasion clip, well, that one's coming soon, this year, Nick Fury says that the cavalry is on its way, which could possibly be a nod to Melinda Mav's return, because her nickname is the Cavalry in Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It looks like a new Doctor Strange movie is being made, so the writing of the script has begun if the rumors are to be believed. To many fans' delight, it looks like we will see John Bernthal back as Punisher in the new Daredevil Born Again series. We know Jonathan Majors is going to play a far more present role in Loki Season 2, especially since he was introduced in Quantumania and now will be the new big bad guy, essentially the new Thanos for the next arc. So everything will be building up to defeat him. I mean, I'm excited to watch the Marvels. The new poster dropped this week. I mean, check out how around their bodies you can see their symbols. And I think it's really clever. It has unfortunately been pushed back to the 10th of November this year. Kamala Khan's suit was supposed to be the big reveal, but it was actually leaked last year in a set photo. Demetrius Gross, who has played in Banshee and Westworld, even Rampage, he's been reportedly cast as the Grim Reaper, and he'll be the new villain in the Wonder Man series. The Grim Reaper's first appearance is in Avengers 52. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is set to come out soon, and even Chris Hemsworth said he's excited for it. We got an update from the Hasbro Pulse show and the new toys coming out. And as usual, it gave away little things from the movie, or we guess it will. So here you can see them all in their new blue suits, but the big reveal for me was Groot's wings. The Builder figure will be Cosmo, the telekinetically talking space dog. We found out in the Christmas special that Mantis and Peter are step-siblings, but them talking about how strong their bond is if either of them didn't make it doesn't give me a very warm and fuzzy feeling inside. We could be in for some emotional damage. So, I got some pictures from the Funko toys from across the Spider-Verse, and they look pretty cool, but they can already give us some insight as to who the bigger characters are going to be in the movie. I use all of this as part of my comic speculation. I heard Tom Holland's Spider-Man might even make a live-action appearance in Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, that would be a super cool cameo. The biggest bomb drop for me had to be Steven Yeun getting an undisclosed role in Thunderbolts. And this has everyone spinning. I mean, who do you think he's going to play? A few characters come to mind. I mean, maybe he could play Sentry, but he doesn't really seem to fit that part. Hey, how about Teguki? I mean, I spoke about him and his first appearance a few shows ago. Maybe a Taskmaster, since the last one in Black Widow wasn't received very well. But for me, I think he would make a great Amadeus Cho. And it kind of tracks because we know we're getting Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. I mean, why not add a totally awesome Hulk to the mix? Okay, what a show so far. Okay, time to close out this with some indie news. So a new live-action Hellboy is in the works. It will focus on a younger version of Hellboy, and a new supporting character has been created just for this. And it's a shame that Abe Sapien didn't get more screen time, because I always liked him. The new movie will be called Hellboy, the Crooked Man. I mean, it's the same as the comics. And finally, Netflix has commissioned the Dark producers to develop a TV series of the latest indie comic horror sensation, Something's Killing the Children. I mean, this is well worth the read. I missed out on the first print of issue 1 when it came out. So I got the other prints and this epic hardcover. I mean, if you can see, it has an embossed logo. It's a brilliant read. For more of a local focus, I have to give a big shout out to Rich Watkin, who's a friend of mine from the comic community. I mean, him and his friend Zaki have created this brilliant series called Digital. The art inside is really cool, and the storyline is clever. I mean, it got me. I mean, I want to show you what they look like. I mean, he's been kind enough to give me the first 3 signed issues. I mean, you can get it on Kickstarter. Issues 1, 2, and 3 are still available, but issue 4 comes out this week, and I'm actually really excited. Okay, so, well, that's it from me, guys. It was a crazy show. I hope it wasn't too much of an overload. There's just so much happening. Next week, yeah, okay, listen, till next week, catch you on the side of the flipping. Okay, bye.